Welcome back to our channel where we give you scientific facts related to your healthy eating and overall healthy living. In this video, we are going to tell you what OMAD is and scientific research related to it, so you can decide if it is for you or not. We will start with the history of OMAD, then get into the scientific facts and give you key points to consider before jumping into the OMAD train. The concept of eating one meal a day, OMAD, dates back to ancient civilizations. The Romans, for example, typically consumed one large meal in the afternoon. This practice extended into the Middle Ages, where laborers often had a single substantial meal due to the constraints of daylight and resources. Over time, as food became more accessible and social norms evolved, the concept of 3 meals a day emerged, particularly with the rise of industrialized societies. However, OMAD remained a cultural practice in certain regions where food scarcity persisted or where religious fasting played a role. While OMAD is a form of intermittent fasting, direct research on OMAD itself is limited, though numerous studies have explored the effects of time-restricted eating, TRE, and offering insights into its benefits and risks. Here are a few research studies done on OMAD to help you decide if it is something you want to incorporate in your lifestyle. Number 1. The 2007 study by Kim Stote et al. Conducted at the Beltsville Human Nutrition Research Center in Maryland. This study's aim was to evaluate the effects of reduced meal frequency without reducing total calorie intake. The randomized crossover trial involved 15 healthy, normal-weight adults, both men and women, who alternated between consuming 1 meal per day, OMAD, and 3 meals per day over 2 8-week periods. During the experiment, participants consumed their caloric needs in either 1 meal or 3 meals daily. The results showed that, although participants maintained their weight, the 1 meal group showed changes in body composition, including reduced fat mass and increased levels of LDL cholesterol and blood pressure. Some other markers such as triacylglycerol and cortisol also showed significant changes. Importantly, there were no effects on heart rate or body temperature. LDL, low-density lipoprotein. Cholesterol is often referred to as bad cholesterol because it transports cholesterol to the arteries where it can accumulate and form plaque. This buildup, known as atherosclerosis, can narrow and harden the arteries, increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes. LDL cholesterol is measured as part of a standard lipid panel, and maintaining low levels is crucial for heart health. High LDL levels are typically managed through lifestyle changes and, if necessary, medications like statins. This is the type of cholesterol that increased in people who did OMAD. The findings suggest that OMAD may have mixed effects on health. While it may reduce fat mass, it could also increase certain cardiovascular risk factors. There is need for more research that investigates the long-term cardiovascular effects risks that may or may not come as a result of increased LDL cholesterol. Number 2. The study by Lecheminant et al. 2013 in United States focused on the effects of meal frequency on metabolism. The researchers aim to assess how consuming fewer, larger meals, specifically 1 meal per day or OMAD, compared to more frequent eating, 3 meals per day, might affect caloric intake and overall metabolic health. The study took place for a duration of 2 weeks. The study involved a relatively small group of healthy young male participants. The participants were assigned to one of 2 meal frequency groups. There was a single meal group, eating 1 large meal a day, and a 3 meal group, eating 3 smaller meals a day. The goal was to determine the differences in total energy intake, appetite regulation, and metabolism between the 2 groups, with a particular focus on how meal frequency might influence food consumption and metabolism. The results showed that the 1 meal group, OMAD, consumed fewer total calories over the day, indicating that OMAD might help with calorie control. However, this reduction in energy intake was coupled with concerns over potential nutrient inadequacy due to the extreme restriction of meal frequency. The study concluded that OMAD could be effective in reducing total energy intake, but it raised concerns about the adequacy of nutrients when consumed in such a restrictive eating window. OMAD's benefits for calorie control were clear, but it might not be the best approach for everyone, especially in the long term, due to potential nutrient imbalances. This research highlights that while meal frequency can play a role in managing calorie intake, It is essential to ensure a balanced intake of nutrients to maintain long-term health. Number 3. The study by Carlson et al., 2009, examined the effects of a 20 to 4 eating window, a time-restricted feeding (TRF) approach similar to the 1 meal a day OMAD diet. This research focused on obese individuals and aimed to evaluate how this fasting model impacted metabolic health, specifically body fat reduction and lipid profiles, including triglycerides (TGs), high-density lipoprotein (HDL), and low-density lipoprotein (LDL) cholesterol levels. The aim of this study was to investigate how reducing the eating window affects lipid metabolism and body composition. The exact number of participants is not specified, but the study involved obese individuals as the primary demographic. Participants followed a 20-hour fasting period with a 4-hour eating window, consuming all their daily calories within this limited time frame. Their metabolic parameters, such as lipid profiles and body fat, were measured over the study duration. In the results, a reduction in body fat was observed, suggesting that the restricted eating window contributed to fat loss. Both TG and HDL levels improved, indicating better lipid metabolism. LDL cholesterol levels increased, raising potential concerns about cardiovascular risk despite other metabolic improvements. Conclusions. The study concluded that a 20 to 4 eating pattern could effectively reduce body fat and improve some aspects of lipid metabolism. However, the increase in LDL cholesterol suggests caution, particularly for long-term adherence without medical supervision. This finding highlights the importance of balancing metabolic benefits with potential cardiovascular risks, especially in individuals with pre-existing conditions. This research is often cited in broader discussions about intermittent fasting and OMAD due to its insights into the benefits and risks of extreme time-restricted eating patterns. Number 4. The 2020 study by Krista Varatti and colleagues at the University of Illinois at Chicago explored the effects of various intermittent fasting methods, including alternate day fasting (ADF) and time-restricted eating (TRE). The goal was to compare these fasting methods' impacts on weight loss and overall health, with a specific look at how different regimens could influence sustainability and caloric intake. This randomized controlled trial involved obese and non-obese adults. Participants were divided into groups practicing different fasting methods. The study measured weight loss, caloric intake, and health markers over a set period. Participants following ADF alternated between consuming 25% of their daily calorie needs on fast days and eating freely on non-fast days. TRE participants ate all their meals within a restricted time window each day. Results of this experiment showed that both ADF and TRE led to significant weight loss. However, ADF resulted in greater overall caloric deficits, raising concerns about its long-term sustainability due to the potential for extreme calorie reduction. Improvements in markers like LDL cholesterol and blood glucose were noted across both groups. However, excessive calorie restriction with ADF raised concerns about nutritional adequacy and adherence over time. The study concluded that while both methods are effective for short-term weight loss, ADF's extreme calorie deficits may challenge long-term adherence. TRE was suggested to be more sustainable due to its more flexible approach. This research highlights how different fasting methods can achieve similar weight loss outcomes, but sustainability and nutritional balance are critical considerations for long-term success. Number 5. The 2005 study by Heilbronn et al. Was part of the comprehensive assessment of long-term effects of reducing intake of energy, calorie trial, conducted in the U.S., specifically at institutions such as the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. The aim was to explore how calorie restriction, CR, with or without exercise, impacts oxidative stress markers, insulin sensitivity, and fat distribution. In this experiment, there were 48 healthy participants, non-obese adults aged 25-50 with a BMI between 25 to 30. The participants were randomly assigned to different groups: control, calorie restriction, 25%, calorie restriction with exercise, 12.5% each, or a low-calorie diet leading to a 15% weight loss. Metabolic markers were tested through fasting glucose levels, lipid profiling, and body composition scans over 6 months. The results of this experiment showed that calorie restriction improved insulin sensitivity, reduced fat mass, and lowered oxidative stress markers. However, the study cautioned against extreme long-term fasting without medical supervision due to the risk of nutritional deficiencies. It suggested that moderate calorie restriction could enhance metabolic resilience while improving aging-related biomarkers. Here are the benefits of OMAD. Number 1. OMAD can create a caloric deficit, promoting fat loss. Number 2. Improvements in insulin sensitivity, triglyceride levels, and neuroprotection have been noted. Number 3. Reduces the complexity of meal planning. Here are the risks of OMAD. Number 1. Difficulty in consuming all essential nutrients in one meal. Number 2. Risk of hypoglycemia, particularly for diabetics and cardiovascular disease due to high levels of LDL. Number 3. Potential for increased hunger and overeating when not carefully monitored. In conclusion, OMAD shows promise for weight loss and metabolic health, but requires more extensive long-term research. Individuals considering OMAD should consult healthcare providers to ensure it aligns with their health needs. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing to our channel to help us grow. See you next time.